And that brings me to the Washington Commanders. Now, obviously, we all know that the Washington Commanders is my favorite football team. We know that I rep hard for the Washington Commanders. And when I did my NFC East predictions, I gave a bias analysis about the Washington Commanders, and I gave my unbiased analysis about the Washington Commanders. I just felt that was fair because I didn't want to just go into it saying, oh, this is my favorite team, rah, 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 this is what we're going to do. No. As of right now, Thursday night showed me why the Washington Commanders are not a Super Bowl contender. Thursday night showed me, and like I just said, that the Green Bay Packers, a team that is a Super Bowl contender, is just on a different level than the Washington Commanders are right now. Meaning the Washington Commanders should not consider themselves a Super Bowl contender. Every single fear I had about this Washington Commanders team going into the season, we saw on Thursday Night Football. What were my concerns, you ask? I got you. Concern number one was we're the oldest team in football. And one thing that I know about football is you don't get healthier as the season goes by. Your body wears down more, obviously. And I was wondering how long this team was going to last, if they could last the entire season playing at a high level. It took 2 weeks. And now Austin Eckler tore his Achilles. That's going to be huge, especially after you traded Brian Robinson to the 49ers. And I think we lost a defensive player as well. This is just 2 weeks in. On top of that, speaking of defense, that was my biggest concern going into the season. I said, last year, the defense struggled, especially stopping the run. And I didn't feel they did enough in the offseason to really address that. Yes, I'm happy that they got Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel played an okay game, 7 receptions for 44 yards and a touchdown. Yes, they read up on Terry McLaurin. I think that was important, and that was smart to do that. But they didn't really address the defense as much as I thought they should, especially after we saw last year what the great teams did to us, especially in the run game. And while I will say that the Commanders did a decent job these first 2 weeks, but if we're looking at just Thursday Night Football, they did a decent job stopping Josh Jacobs. 23 carries for only 84 yards is pretty good. The back end started leaking. You know what the Washington Commanders are? Or you know what they've been? They've been a sturdy house with a couple holes in the ceiling. Not large holes, but a couple holes in the ceiling. Now, is that house still livable? Yes. When it's a sunny, beautiful day, do those holes really cause an issue? Not really. I mean, they might be tough to look at, but they don't really cause an issue. When do those holes start to become a problem? When it rains, when it snows, inclement weather. Then you start getting drips. You start getting drops. You start getting water coming into the house. You'll put a bucket down one, and that solves the problem for a minute. Oh, But there goes another hole right there. So now you got to find a whole nother bucket to put in that hole. Oh, shoot, there's a hole right there. So now you have 3 buckets. Oh, but don't forget the first bucket is kind of overflowing now. So now you have to replace it. Needless to say, the house is still livable. But once there's inclement weather, it starts to become an issue. I feel too many times last year and these first 2 games, Jaden Daniels' greatness was the bucket. Jaden Daniels' greatness was the bucket that the Washington Commanders were putting under those holes. One of the holes being the defense, especially the run defense. One of the holes being the offensive line. One of the holes being the skills position. One of the holes being the back end of the defense. There were so many holes, but because Jaden Daniels was so good, he was able to be the bucket to catch the water. So now you don't have a wet floor. But like I said, sometimes, a lot of times, if you put that bucket there for long enough, it's going to overflow. Yes, Washington did a good job stopping the run. But you let their tight end get 6 catches for 124 yards. Don't get me wrong, Tucker Kraft is good, but he's not. That's prime Travis Kelce, prime Shannon Sharp, prime Tonio Gonzalez numbers. That ain't Tucker Kraft. And I don't know if you noticed how many times not only Jordan Love threw it to a wide open receiver, but they let it fly so many times for huge games. And then you talk about the penalties. When Jaden Daniels was drafted and before Jaden Daniels had the season that he had last year, Washington was looked at as a rebuilding franchise. Understandably so. And the greatness of Jaden Daniels sped up that process, again, making it to the NFC Championship. And my fear was that clouded people into what we're really seeing. And we're seeing a team that is good, but still incredibly flawed. And we saw exactly that fear, exactly why I don't think Washington, at least this year, is a Super Bowl contender. Because when you went up against a team that is a different caliber than the New York Giants, you lost 27-18. And quiet as it's kept, Jaden Daniels hasn't played great these first 2 weeks, but again, look at the offensive line has been great, and you played 2 really good defenses. The Giants defense, especially their pass rush, and then Micah Parsons, Rashad Gary in the Green Bay Packers week 2 on a short week. Now, before I move on and before I give my predictions on the rest of the week, people can say, well, Jalen, you don't think you're overreacting because it was a short week. It was Thursday Night Football. You don't think that you're just being a hyperbolic fan? I would understand that thinking if the way that Washington lost on Thursday night was the same way they lost several times last year. More specifically, outside of the turnovers, because Washington didn't have any turnovers, more specifically how they lost in the NFC Championship against the Eagles. We've seen this story. When Jaden Daniels isn't able to be Superman, this team struggles. And now, I don't know what we're going to do at the running back position. I know Jacoby Crosskey Merritt, who's a rookie, he's going to get the load of it, but pause. Whoa. Because Austin Eckler tore his Achilles. But I don't know what we're going to do because you gave up Brian Robinson, who would have been a great option to go to. I think Washington is a good team. I think they're going to be a good team. I think this is going to be a good season for them. But it all goes back to expectations, man. When you this team was just in the NFC Championship, and there's a lot of people that think that they should get back there or better. And that's why I said in my prediction, let's pump the brakes, because if you really looked over the offseason, they didn't do much to address their biggest issues. They addressed some things, but not enough to be like, oh, wow, this team is really going to make a deep playoff run. No. As much as we can believe in Jaden Daniels, which I believe in Jaden Daniels wholeheartedly, I also see that he is the bucket right now. And the Green Bay Packers was inclement weather in a house that has holes. And it just got another hole because Austin Eckler is out for the season. There's only so much that Jaden Daniels' greatness can do before that bucket overflows, or those buckets overflow. And we saw them overflow on Thursday Night Football against the Green Bay Packers. And that is why, as much as I'm a fan, as much as I'm excited to see them for the rest of the season, I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender. On top of that, they have one of the toughest schedules in football. I think we're closer to contender status than rebuild status, but I don't think we are contenders just yet. And Thursday Night Football was a clear indication, not just that game, but a lot of the issues that you saw from the Commanders against the Packers, you saw a lot last year, which kind of held them back from being a Super Bowl caliber team. Congratulations to the Packers for beating the Washington Commanders 27-18. Oh, man, you stayed to the end of the video. I appreciate you. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss any content from your boy. You can also go back and watch past episodes, past clips, and don't forget that the Unpopular Podcast, new episodes drop every Wednesday and Saturday. Appreciate you.